How's it going, everybody? I'm back in Fallout 4 again at Abernathy Farm. This time I'm going to be building a structure for Nick. I'm going to be building a extra detective agency area for him, so another outlet for his detective agency. And so this structure, you will realize pretty quickly that it looks a lot like the house that I built for Hancock, but it is different, um, mainly decorations, but the upstairs is a little bit different as well. Also, I found out a bit of an easier way to do it rather than doing all of the extra work that I did to make Hancock's house. So it's the same basic structure, but like I said, this is different just because the decorations mainly. It is a little bit different upstairs too, and you'll see what I mean whenever I actually get up there. But as you can see, I just put another structure or another foundation on the left side of the house, lowered it a little bit, put the staircase floor that lets you move up to a second story or whatever, and then just builds off of that. And it worked really good. So you can see that it worked well. And all of these pieces just fit. But I am having issues with this end of it. And I go ahead and I mess with this again. But really what it was the wall on that end. For some reason, that wall, that plywood, like 3D wall. I call it 3D because you can kind of see that it's got more depth to it. It's like layers, and it looks great. I use it a lot just because you could clip it through stuff, and you could see that there'd be plywood on both sides, and so I figured out that that was the issue with all of this. The reason I was having so many problems getting things to clip through, but yeah, so as you can see, like it takes a long time to get things to work, but yeah, see right there, I get it to clip, I get rid of that, and boom, it snaps right back on. It works out perfect. So the next thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is just rug glitch in some of the in USO, they unlock these half walls that kind of are rounded off, and they fit right in to the sides of this, and so I go ahead and rug glitch those in because they're pretty easy to fit in, especially with the rug. I mean, I really like how they kind of just fit in, and since these won't snap uh, to the floors, since they're a little bit lower than the walls, I just go ahead and I put those onto the side of the walls. And to make this side a little bit more interesting, I go ahead and put that wall down, so it's kind of hanging off, and you'll see what I do in the final build to kind of fix that. And so on this side, it's kind of lifted up off of that other wall, which right now I'm just trying to get this straight, but the wall that I just placed a moment ago on that left side is kind of lifted up off of it, and I really don't like that it's doing that. I should have put this wall in as well, so this was me just realizing that I had forgotten to put in that shack end. And then I'm going ahead and putting this on here while I'm up here doing this to section off this back area. And I really like how sectioned off this upper floor is. But as you can see, it's kind of lifted up off of the bottom floor, and so I'm sitting here trying to fix that, and I'm trying to figure out how to fix that, and then I decide that I actually want to extend this back part of the house, uh, and I make a little kind of nook out of that. It doesn't, uh, it doesn't make the house look as boxy, which I think is a really good way to kind of make builds look a little bit more interesting. Because if you just build these square structures, which I mean, my structures usually aren't just like squares or boxes, but it's kind of hard. I don't know. I have a hard time building things that aren't boxy or square, and so that's what I always have to try really hard to make things that aren't. And I think that that's what really makes a build look uh, really good. It kind of makes it stand out compared to everything else because it doesn't quite just look like a square. And I try to avoid that as often as possible. Um, and then I thought, since I was trying to make it look a little bit less square, I would use that rounded part of the roof. And as you can see, well, you can't because I didn't really show you. Sorry, but uh, I just go ahead and place down some of these ball track supports to kind of make it look a little bit more supported, which I end up changing my mind because I can't get this end on. And so to make it look a little less like there's a bunch of poles just poking everywhere, poking out of the ground everywhere, I went ahead and I used the shack supports that come with USO. And I go ahead and look to see if it's clipping through, and it is, so I need to actually place these on there with a pillar. Someone mentioned to me recently that the post for the warehouse tab is actually the same height as the scaffolding, and it is, and it works. The only problem I have with it is that it's kind of like pickup area for some reason. I have a hard time getting it to like be close to an object that I'm trying to pick up or like a good distance away or whatever. It's always like really hard to actually get in the correct like spot to build with. And on the front of the house, I wanted to make a bit more of an interesting staircase. So I decided to use the pallets and some cinder blocks. So it's not that original, I would say, because this is, I mean, I've never seen anybody else do it. It's original to me, but uh, it's sort of just based off of the cinder block stairs that you can get with USO. And so you'll see that I use the cinder blocks in USO and pallets, piece of plywood, and then just use boards from custom vanilla assets. And I think that it looks really nice. Um, I use different pieces for each of the steps, and I just go ahead and pillar glitch those into the, or on top of the cinder blocks to make them look a little bit more stable and steps. And these are not usable at all. I realized that pretty quickly. I tried to have, in the final tour, you'll notice Nick is in the house, and it took me forever to actually get him in the house. I had to sit there and push him. I had to make him stay in one spot as my follower, and then push him up the stairs by just running into him until he would go up there. And I thought about moving them out of the way and then putting an actual staircase and then having him go in there. I actually opted against that because I have to select all these staircase into the structure actually. But I thought it turned out really interesting. And I make a few more changes, so you'll notice in the final build that I put some junk walls around the base of the shack because after I had stopped recording, and already started decorating everything like that. I decided that it didn't need to be like floating that way. Also, have a little Valentine Detective Agency sign up. Final tour. I really liked this build. I thought that it looked really cool. Even if it is similar to that shack over there for Hancock, it was the decoration that really made this house stand out. You see that I kind of put a double high or two high, whatever, tall junk fence up against that wall on that side to make it look like it's holding up that upper pillar or upper wall. And then these pillars holding up this side with those supports, I think really worked out well. Got a little Valentine Detective Agency sign and kept that staircase because I thought it looked really cool. And if we go inside, you'll see that I used a lot of the same kind of decorative pieces and stuff that you would see in Valentine's Detective Agency in Diamond City. Tons of files, tons of boxes, filing cabinets, holotapes, cigarettes for him because he smokes even though he's a synth. Doesn't really make much sense, whatever. And up here on this side, I actually went ahead and made a little mechanic area because, I mean, he's a synth, so, I mean, sometimes he might have to fix some things if he gets injured out on his missions, out on his cases. And then over here, the little bedroom area for him. Again, thinking about it, I don't know why he would need a bed. He's a synth, but whatever. I really liked that vault poster, how the gas mask fits right on the face of the vault boy. I thought that was awesome. It fit perfect. But yeah, super decorative build. That's really what makes this one different than the Hancock's house. But if you guys do like this build, make sure you check out some of my other builds, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.